Assalamualaikum. Welcome to this video tutorial on simplifying Java for OOP1 students at King Faisal University and for others who want to learn Java. This is part 24 in this series and is entitled Multithreading in Java. A thread is synonymous to a process. Analogously, if multiprocessing means many processes occurring at the same time, multithreading means many threads simultaneously running at the same time. And because they run simultaneously or concurrently, they have different paths of execution. Some things to remember about threads are 1. Every Java program has at least one thread, the main thread, or what we know as the main method. 2. Thread can be created by implementing the runnable interface or extending the thread class. In this tutorial, we will create one by extending the thread class. 3. A thread begins when another thread calls the start method. And 4. Once started, a thread becomes runnable through the runnable object that can be overridden through the run method. This means that we have to change the definition of the run method that we inherited from the superthread class. Threads can be simple and risky at some points. That's why programmers should be careful in assuring that threads don't interfere with each other. In activity number 45, we will create a Java project called toThreads that extends the thread class. We will override the run method by displaying the integers 1 to 1 million. And we're going to instantiate the toThreads class in the main method and start it. We will use try-catch to put thread class to sleep for 5 seconds, which is equivalent to 5,000 milliseconds. We will also create a boolean variable finished to know that the timer has already expired. Once finished, the printing of numbers in the run method should stop even if it hasn't reached 1 million yet. This means that the first thread in this project counts and prints the numbers from 1 to 1 million, while the other thread counts or sleeps for 5 seconds and then stops or wakes up. After it wakes up, the first thread should stop as well, even if it hasn't reached 1 million yet. We will consider our input as the numbers 1 to 1 million. Our output will be the numbers that can be printed for 5 seconds. So our class 2 threads will extend the thread class. We will override the run method by creating a loop from 1 to 1 million and we will print every value. We will then instantiate toThreads and start it. Using try-catch, we will command the parent class thread to sleep for 5 seconds. Its equivalent is 5,000 milliseconds. Afterwards, we can determine if it is already finished sleeping by creating a variable finished that should be initially be false. If it's true, printing of the number should stop. We can set this value to true right after the try-catch blocks. We will call this project toThreads. We will extend the thread class and create a variable called finished, which is boolean, and we will initialize it to false. We will then override the method run. We will simply display the values 1 to 1 million. So we'll start with 1, and the condition is while x is less than 1 million, and the increment is by plus plus. We know that if it's finished, that's after 5 seconds, we should stop this. Otherwise, we should continue printing the value. Okay, we have overridden that method. Now let's go to the main method. We're going to instantiate this class, 2 threads. We'll call it sample. So go to new 2 threads, and we'll start it. Okay, so now we were able to start a thread, and the other thread we will put to sleep for 5 seconds. That's 5,000 milliseconds. We need the catch, otherwise there will be error in our code. And after that sleep for 5 seconds, we will set the finished variable to true. Okay, that's it. Now let's try to run our program. It's now printing the values, and inshallah after 5 seconds there it is. After 5 seconds it stopped at 159,574. Let's try to run it again. After 5 seconds, the first one was 159,574. This time it's 173,514. Take note that it is possible that this number will change every time we run it. Well, congratulations, you've just done a simple application of threads in Java. For activity number 46, we will create a Java project called Multithreads that has 2 other classes, count up and count down, that both extend the thread class. We will override their run methods by counting up 1 to 1 million and counting down 1 million to 1. We will instantiate the 2 subclasses in multithread class and start both. We will use try-catch to put thread class to sleep for 5 seconds. Both subclasses should have finished boolean variable to know that the timer has already expired. Once finished, the printing of numbers in the toRun method should stop. Our inputs will be counters from 1 to 1 million and 1 million to 1. Our output will be the numbers that the processor can count from these ranges. Our process requires 2 subclasses that both extend the thread class, with counters 1 to 1 million and 1 million to 1 for count up and count down respectively. These subclasses are instantiated and started in multithread class. We'll call this project Multithreads. Let's first create our 2 subclasses. Right-click the package, new Java class. The first subclass is called count up, to count from 1 to million. Of course, this class extends the thread class. Same as in the other activity, we have to declare a boolean variable called finished, which will initially be false. Then we have to override the run method from the runnable object. Again, we'll simply print the values from 1 to 1 million. The increment is plus plus. This will terminate if finish is already true. Otherwise, we will continue displaying the numbers. To distinguish if it's in count up or in count down, we will put this word count up, and also the same later for countdown, and then the value. Okay, so since countdown should also be almost the same as this one, we will just copy it. So right click count up, copy, right click the package, multi-threads, and then paste it. Refactor copy. We'll name it countdown and click refactor. Okay, so we now have this countdown class that also extends thread with the same finished variable, with its own finished variable, but this time x will start with 1 million, and our condition is that we will do this while x is greater than 0, and it's no longer increment for xx but for x, but a decrement. And to know that it is counting down, we will put the word down. Okay, now we have our two classes that extends the thread class. We'll go back to the multi-thread class now, where we are going to instantiate both subclasses. Let's start with count up. Let's call the instantiated object up is equal to new count up, and count down. Let's call the object down is equal to new count down. Let's start both. Up that start and down that start also. Then we'll command the thread to sleep for 5 seconds. Only for 5 seconds. So thread sleep for 5,000 milliseconds, and then we'll put the catch. Of course, our exception E will not do anything for that, and once it's awakened, we have to set the variable finish to true and the down dot finished also to true. Okay, that's it. Let's try to run our program. You can see that count up and then count down and then count up and then count down. That's because of the thread, because they are being run simultaneously. Okay, let's look at the output again. Count down, then count up. So it now depends on the processor, because they are running simultaneously. If you notice, even if we started with up, it didn't matter. It still started with countdown because now they are running simultaneously or concurrently. It's count up and then there's countdown and then count up and then count down. Okay, very good. Well then guys, we've just finished demonstrating multi-threading in Java. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Mas salama.